Got a loaded show on today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports as we kind of got more clarity on the duration of how long Jonathan Kuminga will be out with his right ankle sprain, so a big injury update there. And then on the back half of today's show, more bad news for the Golden State Warriors on the basketball court specifically. Steve Kerr and Steph Curry had some comments that I thought were pretty notable, and we'll talk about that later on. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel for the best Golden State Warriors content on YouTube. Daily news and rumors. We got live shows coming up as the season gets deeper and deeper, and I want you guys to be a part of it as we inch closer and closer to 71,000 subscribers. 63 subs away. Help us get there. YouTube.com/WarriorsTV. Go hit that red sub button, and we'll start off with today's show. What's going on, Dub Nation? You're watching Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Tyler Smith, and on today's show, we got some pretty bad news surrounding Jonathan Kuminga's injury, and that news is that he'll be out at least 3 weeks. Yes, this is a serious injury. Steve Kerr noted right after the game where he did get hurt against the Memphis Grizzlies that this would not be a day-to-day thing. This is a more serious injury, and he's going to be reevaluated in 3 weeks. So that doesn't even mean he's coming back in at the end of the month, at the end of January here. This could be longer. It could be, closer to February, maybe closer past the trade deadline to where the Warriors will be missing Jonathan Kuminga. Anthony Slater gave us a little bit more of a painted picture on what Jonathan Kuminga's situation is. He said in the afternoon, they learned a firmer diagnosis on Jonathan Kuminga's significantly sprained right ankle. Kuminga, who isn't putting weight on his right foot and said he's struggling to get up the stairs in his house, will miss at least 3 weeks, ruling him out for a minimum of 11 games. And with the Warriors at 18 and 17 right now, man, that could pose big trouble for Golden State. As Jonathan Kuminga has really come along over this last 10-game stretch. Even though the Warriors have not been the most consistent team in the win-loss column over that stretch, Jonathan Kuminga has been one of the lone bright spots out there. And this sucks, man, because he really seemed to be turning a corner. Steve Kerr noticed it, and he said it wasn't like the old times where Jonathan Kuminga, had a really big spurt and then kind of went back to his old ways. He said he's not settling for 17-foot jumpers early in the shot clock. He's becoming aware of his teammates. He's becoming a better facilitator, and that's evident in the stat sheet as well. He's over 20 points per game in his last 10. He's really seeing a increased hunger to go out there and crash the glass and grab rebounds, both on the offensive and defensive end, creating more opportunities for Golden State. So finally, he's adding that element to his ball, to his repertoire. Kind of getting up there in the assist category a little bit. I mean, you could ask for more, but for where Jonathan Kuminga was at the beginning of the season in the facilitation and playmaking department, he's really taken big strides as the season has come along. And we know him to be a plus 50% field goal percentage guy throughout his career, but the outside shot is also getting much better. And missing Jonathan Kuminga, missing that production over this long stretch is going to be tough for Golden State because look at the schedule they got coming up over the next 11 games. I mean, they play the Phoenix Suns. I mean, they play the Miami Heat tonight, January 7th. They got the Detroit Pistons on the 9th. But, they've been looking pretty good. Cade Cunningham's coming into his own. Indiana Pacers, playoff team. Toronto Raptors, they got bodies. They're deep. They're not necessarily, the most winning team in the NBA, but they got bodies. Minnesota, playoff team, superstars. Washington, you better get a win there. Boston, you already beat them. Chalk that one up as a loss. Sacramento, you just got blown out by 30 at home. Now you got to go to Sacktown and light the beam. Chicago, they're winning too many games right now. They're kind of overperforming there in the Eastern Conference. Then you got LeBron and the Lakers again. I don't even want to talk about Christmas Day. Utah, which I can't even chalk up as a win anymore. They're winning games too. Oklahoma City, that's not going to be good. And then Phoenix again at the end of the month. I mean, Jonathan Kuminga can miss every one of those games for Golden State, and this could be really, really bad. Like they could potentially lose maybe 75% of those games over that stretch. There's no telling with how Golden State plays basketball on a day-to-day basis. You need guys like Andrew Wiggins. And Draymond Green said this, and most of the Warriors teammates have said this. They need Wiggins to be more aggressive. They need him to be a bigger focal point of that offense. Kyle Anderson, Steve Kerr said he'll be filling in big-time minutes for Jonathan Kuminga. Can he give you anything in the scoring department off the bench? I'm not so sure that he can, but he brings other elements to his game. Really versatile defender, a good playmaker out of the high post as well. Moses Moody, is he going to get any burn during this stretch? I hope he does, man, because you signed the guy to a 3-year, nearly $40 million extension, and he's found himself out of the rotation again. Steve Kerr has bullied him out of the Golden State rotation. Maybe he hasn't necessarily performed to the level that Steve Kerr wants, but hey, with Jonathan Kuminga out right now, he's going to have to fill some big shoes and hopefully carve himself a little role in this rotation. And I know Golden State Warriors fans are not happy about Kuminga missing time, but he's not happy either. He wants to be out there playing for the Dubs. Like he said, quote, I just don't want to be off. I want to be playing. I feel like our team had started taking off in the right direction. And that's the whole thing with Golden State this year. They're bad karma, right, with injuries. DeAnthony Melton goes out after the Warriors start the season 12-3, atop the Western Conference, and they basically fall off a cliff immediately after that injury goes down. They lose like 12 or 13 of their next 15 after that. And then now Kuminga comes out and gets hurt against the Memphis Grizzlies. Warriors they end up winning that game, but then the following game against the Sacramento Kings, they get blown out by 30 at home. So just more inconsistency added to an already inconsistency-filled season for Golden State, and Kuminga is not going to be a part of it for this next 11-game, maybe even more stretch. Like, this stinks for Kuminga. I feel for him, and it really seemed like he was turning a corner and helping the team turn a corner and become more consistent over the super long NBA season that we still have a ton of ways to go. Hopefully, Jonathan Kuminga can come back in that season sooner rather than later. So show him some love right now in the comment section. Give me some double zeros to give Jonathan Kuminga some well wishes and help him come back as quickly as possible. Make Dub Nation heard in the comment section. Make Jonathan Kuminga see this video with all those double zeros down in the comments. Next up, more bad news for Golden State. Like I said, they got blown out by 30 on their home floor against the Sacramento Kings, and we got to talk about it because there were some big-time quotes from Stephen Curry and Steve Kerr about the state of the Golden State Warriors on the basketball court right now. We'll talk about that in a second, but first, I got to give a major shout-out to today's sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform with over 10 million active members, including yours truly. And you guys can get started today with a free $50 in your account when you sign up and use our promo code CLNS. And you place your first $5 entry. You might be asking me, Tyler, how do you even place an entry on PrizePicks? Super simple. All you got to do is pick a lineup of 2 to 6 player stat projections and just pick more or less. They got basketball, football, hockey, baseball when it comes back around. They got college sports, esports. They got it all on PrizePicks. And I decided to hit the basketball slate tonight because PrizePicks is always trying to give you guys incredible deals. Like the $50 we're trying to give you for free. They also give you discounted stat projections every single Tuesday. Call it Taco Tuesday. And fitting that it's our good friend LeBron James. More than 19.5 points against the Dallas Mavericks, the depleted Dallas Mavericks, might I add. And then more than 18.5 points for Andrew Wiggins. Like I said, we need more aggressive Wigs in Kuminga's absence, so give me the more on that. And then with the Warriors playing the Miami Heat tonight, give me more than 12.5 rebounds plus assists for Draymond Green. You know it's going to be a physical game down in the 305. So this is my picks. You can take them, you can fade them. Just make sure you go and do it at PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use that promo code CLNS for $50 for free when you place your first $5 entry. You don't even need to win to receive the $50. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks. Run your game. All right, so with the Golden State Warriors losing 129-99 to the Sacramento Kings, this is just another example of Golden State just not being able to string together multiple wins in a row. Like, they look like a totally different team. They shoot the lights out of the ball against the Memphis Grizzlies a couple days ago, lose Jonathan Kuminga, and then all of a sudden, it's a 38-point difference. You beat the Grizzlies by 8, you lose by 30 the next game. Like, that just is not – it's unacceptable to me, to be quite honest. I mean, you turn the ball over 8 times in the first quarter. You shoot less than 35% from 3 on the game. I mean, totally sloppy, 22 total turnovers on the game. And you're giving a team like Sacramento, who likes to get out and run, like just total fodder to be able to explode offensively. The Kings started out 35-17 in the first quarter, and there was no way for Golden State to come back. So let's just talk about what the big dogs in Golden State had to say about this win and what it means for Golden State for the entire season and beyond. Steve Kerr, man, like, can you get a little specific for me, Steve? Like, what are we doing? He says, not more alarming than any other loss. Oh, a 30-point home loss after you lose one of your top 3 players in the scoring department on this team is not more alarming than any other loss. You're not alarmed that you're not going to be without a guy who's been averaging 21 points per game over the last 10 for the next 10? Like, that just doesn't register with me, man. And, like, what's alarming to me is the lack of consistency within this roster. I mentioned it on the front half of today's video. Like, Golden State just can't string together multiple wins in a row. They cannot play to a high level multiple times in a row. Like, it's utterly ridiculous. One night, Buddy Hield, and he's like the shining example of this, right? One night, Buddy Hield goes for 20 points on 6 of 11 from 3, and the next night he goes for 3 points on 1 of 8 from 3. And like, you're never like since the beginning of the season, we just haven't seen that become a consistent thing over a long stretch. I am pretty tired of this for Golden State. And by the way, after Steve Kerr is like talking about shortening up this rotation and all that stuff, he's got Pat Spencer playing in the first quarter. What are we doing, man? We're playing lacrosse players in the first quarter of big-time games where they need to stack up wins. Like, this is an unserious organization right now, in my opinion. I've been barking down the tree, for the past months. Since the summer, since June, since before Klay Thompson even left the team. This team needs to make a trade and add a big-time player. And they've just been so reluctant to do that. Been trying to operate on 2 different timelines. And it's evident with the with the current state of the Warriors where they at right now. 18 and 17, starting 12 and 13, 12 and 3, and Stephen Curry seems kind of fed up with it all. He said, when you're looking up and down, up, and it's a double-digit lead before the first time out at 36-21, which is 35-17, by the way, it's even worse. We're not really built for it to have that crazy comeback. We haven't shown that ability, and it's just one of those things where you don't want to be in that situation, especially in a back-to-back. We would have loved to have started the game a lot better to give ourselves a chance. Was a key word there in Stephen Curry's comment. It was built. This roster is not built to come back. And what do you have to do when you make a big comeback in the NBA, right? Because these days it's fairly common. I wouldn't say it's easy, but I would say it's common for teams to come back from 20-point deficits because of the three-point shot and the pace of play and how many possessions go back and forth per game. It's not inconceivable for teams to come back from 18, 20-point deficits. It is for Golden State, though, because what you need when those things happen is you need microwave scores. You need guys who can go get buckets in bunches, and they simply just don't have those type of guys on the roster right now. You got a guy like Buddy Hield, but guess what? He can only shoot off the catch. You don't have any creators outside of Stephen Curry and maybe sometime Jonathan Kuminga in his own little way, right? It feels to me like Stephen Curry is crying out for help here. It feels to me like Stephen Curry is saying, I can't play with these bums, man. Like, these guys stink, and they give me no chance when teams throw the kitchen sink at me defensively to go pick up the slack and score points for this Golden State Warriors basketball team. It's just not there. They don't have the resources on the roster right now, and the front office has not put forth the effort to gain more resources to alleviate pressure from Stephen Curry, to alleviate pressure on maybe even on the defensive end with Draymond Green. They have not put forth the effort to make this Golden State Warriors team as good as it can be with Stephen Curry at 36 years old, Draymond Green on the wrong side of 30 as well. These guys only have a certain amount of time left, and it's so unfortunate and honestly, in my opinion, disrespectful that they have not put forth the effort to make this team as good and as much of a contender as it can be with Steph and Draymond at this point in their careers. More from Steph here. On what he thinks about the Golden State team. It's basically just him doubling down, right? He says, we haven't shown we can be a come-from-behind team. It's one of those things where you don't want to be in that situation, where you're trying to have crazy offensive fireworks to have a chance. That's not our M.O. I mean, this dude said we don't get buckets. This dude is saying that my guys can't put the ball in the cup, and they can't do it themselves. I got to set them up. I got to do everything. I got to give it to them on a silver platter if this team wants to compete and contend. You can't ask a 36-year-old guy to do that anymore. You just can't, especially not someone who is LeBron James, who's a genetic freak and can just withstand long stretches like that. Like, you can even see over the last couple of years of LeBron's career, he's been missing more time. He's been sitting out. He's been taking leave of absences. The trade deadline is February 6th. Mike Dunleavy, Joe Lacob, wake the hell up! Wake the hell up, man! Go get yourself a player. And it doesn't have to be Kevin Durant. Maybe that's the only player out there that even could be the slightest possibility of traded that can make Golden State a contender in the Western Conference. It doesn't even have to be that. Go make an effort for the guy. At least try. At least try to help the man out because he is crying out for help. He cannot stand playing with this group of trash anymore. And you know what? If you hate me for saying that in the comments, go for it. Because I'm tired of pandering. I'm tired of acting like this team can be competitive and has the traits, and they've shown the potential to be competitive and contending and stars in this league one day. I'm tired of it. I'm done with it. So let me know down in the comment section who's got to go. Which players should Golden State elect to include in a trade package? Maybe. Let me know who you'd like to trade for when you're sending those players out as well down in the comment section. Listen, man. I think everybody's a trade candidate. I think everybody is a trade candidate except for number 30 and number 23. Even Jonathan Kuminga, who's out for 3 weeks. I don't know if anybody's going to take that because they don't really know the full status of the injury. But in my opinion, man, everyone is on the table. There is no stone left unturned. If somebody is wanted by another organization, they can have him, in my opinion. It's 30, it's 23, and go get me somebody else to run this team right now because clearly the people in charge, people on the floor right now, they just aren't doing it, and they're not doing it consistently enough for me and for Steph to feel respected in this league at this point in his career. We can talk about it more, though, on Twitter. Hit me up at Smitty@CS. I'm always trying to talk about the Warriors on there, trying to build my brand a little bit, so give me a follow on Twitter /X, Elon's app, whatever you want to call it, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. YouTube.com/WarriorsTV. We're on the road to 71,000 subscribers, and I want you guys to be a part of it. If you're a diehard Warriors fan, you're going to love the content here. So hit that sub button. We'll see you in the next one. Let's go Dubs.